This Grand Seiko SBGH311 is a high beat limited edition from the Heritage Collection of Grand Seiko. Now, this will be numbered on the case back to 1,200 pieces and will commemorate the 25th anniversary of the first 9S mechanical caliber from Grand Seiko. Now, Grand Seiko calls this watch the Sea of Clouds, and that is in reference to the mass of dense clouds that sometimes envelops the slopes of Mount Iwate, which is near the Shizukuishi manufacturing studio where all Grand Seiko mechanical calibers are crafted. Now, if you look at the dial, you'll notice an irregular wispy pattern made up of a soft mix of silver and white and ivory, and depending on the angle, depending on the light situation, you'll notice these tiny areas that glisten. And like many Grand Seiko dials, I find this subtly beautiful and easy to appreciate. Now, before I jump into the details, the pros and the cons about this limited edition, let me first shout out Exquisite Timepieces. They are a family-owned brick-and-mortar authorized dealer, a great selection of Grand Seiko. I've worked with them for years. I've bought multiple watches from them. They lent this SBGH311 in for review, so I'm going to recommend them if you're looking for a Grand Seiko. A link will be in the description of the video. Now, going back to the detail work, let's take a look at the polished applied chamfered markers that are diamond cut, and those match very nicely the Dauphine style hour hand and minute hand that are so sharp and clean that you swear you could cut something with it. I just love the execution. It's easy to appreciate. There is a small amount of color added with the application of the gilt tone Grand Seiko badge in the polish finish, as well as the heat blued running seconds hand. The last detail I'd like to draw your attention to is the silvered metallic date wheel at the 3 o'clock position. This is a nice feature. Normally, date wheels are just basic white with black printing, but I like how muted this is and how it ties into your polished chamfered applied markers, and then that cloud, that sea of cloud texturized dial. Within this case is the 9S85 high beat mechanical movement. This will have 37 jewels. It beats 36,000 times every hour or 10 times every second. So that seconds hand, it's not as smooth as spring drive, which is a continual release of energy. This one, again, with the 10 starts and stops every second, still looks very smooth, noticeably smoother than a 4 Hz caliber. Now, this power reserve is 55 hours, and the watch will be accurate to a window of +5 to -3 seconds per day, which is just a little bit tighter than COSC levels of accuracy. Now, myself, I love the tech specs. I love some of that engineering that goes into mechanical calibers. So I am going to spend a quick minute and talk about a few interesting things about the movement. The escape wheel and pallet fork are created using a process that Seiko calls micro-electromechanical system, or MEMS tech. This essentially allows for these small critical energy transfer components to be lighter, skeletonized, smoother, with very small micro oil reservoirs that are located at the end of each gear tooth, and that will improve oil retention and allow for less friction over a prolonged amount of time. This is all about to save energy and make the movement more efficient. Now, the mainspring is a new metallic alloy that took 6 years for Grand Seiko to develop. It is called Spron 530 and is designed to handle the increased torque from the oscillation rate of a true high beat while still retaining the 55 hours of power reserve. Going to the hairspring, this is an in-house alloy called Spron 610, and compared to previous hairspring materials that Grand Seiko has used, it can withstand shocks that are twice as powerful as before and magnetic fields 3 times as powerful as before. Now, the movement will be regulated in 6 separate positions, multiple temperatures, and will have a unique full-size anodized light blue titanium rotor that I think is very beautiful. The flip side with this rotor is the fact that you can't see the movement, you can't see the finishing very well, you can't see the components that I've mentioned here in this review, but I do think the look is unique. Now let's go to this on wrist, and just for reference, My wrists are 7.25 inches in circumference, and I would say that this is about as small as I would want to go personally. This case shape was my own first Grand Seiko case purchase. It's not my favorite. I have since moved on to enjoying the 44GS case more, but nonetheless, this is very well executed with fluid lines, good lines of delineation between the brushwork and the Suratsu polishing, and I do think that this will work really well on smaller wrists, mid-sized wrists, or individuals like myself who are larger wristed but also enjoy a smaller or more traditional watch fit. This is 37 millimeters of case diameter, a short lug-to-lug distance of 45 millimeters, an odd lug width of 19 millimeters, and an overall height of 13.6 millimeters. And that is my only real complaint about this specific beautiful watch. It's pretty tall for this style. Yes, this is a daily driver. Yes, this does have 100 meters of water resistance, but it's not a dive watch, and it's approaching dive watch levels of height. And fortunately, Grand Seiko has started to thin out these types of watches with their newest high beat caliber, which is significantly thinner. But that being said, this one is still fairly tall. Now, I don't consider it a deal breaker myself. Obviously, right, I've bought this case in years past, but it does affect the feeling of refinement while the watch is on wrist, and I do think it is something to be aware of. Other than that point, I think this watch is beautiful, and the high level of craftsmanship that Grand Seiko is so well known for is on full display here. The dial is gorgeous, the details are crisp, the movement is impressive, and this watch just has a lovely understated presence in person, and I do think it is a worthwhile limited edition. Let me know if I missed anything or if you have any questions. I'd be more than happy to try to answer those in the comment section of this video. Again, if you're looking for Grand Seiko, I'm going to place my link in the description. Thank you for watching today. I really appreciate it. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.